Why would we just ask this person
Do you know
that?
anything about a Jack the Ripper VR role-playing game?
Yeah, I remember that one. One of the first virtual multiplayer games. Wildly popular for about a year.
Sounds
Lousy
like it.
performance, clunky graphics, but great gameplay.
Winks to the camera.
Really like a 6 out of
Role-playing
10.
game, So people pretend to be Jack the Ripper?
You played Jack, or a police inspector, one of the prostitutes he murdered. There were dozens of scenarios.
Why would you want to play one of the prostitutes he murdered?
You can be a mage if you want.
Funny. As successful as that game was, they just pulled it off the market, never re-released it. They archive a lot of this
I should
stuff
make a
that
Kickstarter.
well address war.
Seems strange.
Companies usually squeeze everything they can out of their successful titles. But
Oh my god, it's meta commentary.
Warp Space re-released everything. except
Not that Ripper would know anything about successful titles.
happened.
Did Falconetti ever play this Ripper game?
He was crazy for it. Big Jack the Ripper night. In fact, I played it with him and his friends on one occasion.
In fact, if I could pin him on the Ripper murder, I'd say he has a
two of them
1/3
named
chance of being that.
Claire Burton and Vincent Magnotta?
Doesn't ring a bell. But there were 8 of them playing the Ripper game all the time. Men
And by the way,
women.
my shoulder hurts.
I only met them all in person once. Usually I just met their data angels in the Ripper game space. Everyone had C-space handles like Balfour and Victoria.
XXX Goku 69.
I thought so.
Are you familiar with the Web Runner?
You shut the fuck up and leave me alone.
Web runners? Yeah, I heard of them. Bunch of chicken shit kids. Think they stand for something but waste their time playing games.
Did you know that Falconetti used to hang with them?
That's right. Yeah, that fits. Because he was quite a chicken shit himself back then.
He could possibly maybe be the suspect as well.
Oh, there's a conspicuous person in the back. I think it could be Jhon Rhys Davies.
I'm Jay Quinlan from the Herald.
Sala from Indiana
Your name,
Jones.
Mon?
Oh.
Mr. Quinlan. I know your work well. Please, join me. Now, let me tell you how you fuck me.
What?
How I'm going to fuck you.
The coffee cups are nice and buttery too.
Once upon a time, you wrote a piece about a man, an acquaintance of mine named Schultz. You remember that particular story?
Well, I read a lot of stories.
Ah, but this one was special. Schultz, the sausage stuffer. You have such a way with words. Schultz was a meat packer who had the ingenious idea.
There's a lot of double entendres here.
Intestines of various and sundry bovines to transport, shall we say, illicit pharmaceuticals.
And you knew the man?
Dear Mr. Quinlan, Schultz was a meat packer, a butcher, a bovine himself. I own Mr. Schultz. When your story revealed exactly how bad sausage was for the health of the citizenry, Mr. Schultz was out of business. I was out of business!
The table is next.
Sorry. Anyway, the Ripper.
Have you followed for 3 months while I consider my options?
Can I get another coffee, please?
Is this a bad time? Because I can always come back.
Absolutely.
Zoom in more if you could.
Now for the fun. This is where I get to tell you how I'm going to fuck you.
Will there be actual fucking involved?
Very amusing, Mr. Quinlan, but I don't think you understand. You see,
And yes.
I own you now. Instead of killing you, I decided that I should rather own the reporter. That way I might better avoid future, shall we say, disadvantageous publicity.
Own me.
What's up, dog? Oh.
What'd you have in that teacup, anyway?
Well, for all intents and purposes, your ass, my boy. You couldn't print anything on me if you wanted to. Now let me ask you something. How well do you know Mr. Dodds?
Ben Dodds. What's he have to do with this?
It was a dark and stormy night.
Ah, Jesus.
A young woman was sobbing before the desk of her father. Her father was the city's most respected editor, one Benjamin Dodds. The woman should have been shedding tears of joy.
I hope this
She had
guy suddenly
won
just like
national
like his
acclaim
guts
for a
explode in the
brilliant
middle of
expose
this.
on the city's fledgling mayor. Eventually it led to his expulsion. But on that particular evening, she was
Not
crying
following any of this, no.
because her father had just discovered that her story was based on research that never took place. Sources that didn't exist.
You're lying.
On the contrary, Ben Dodds is the liar. In fact,
I think if he is a gangster, they'd call him the borer.
not a word of retraction or correction ever saw the light of day. Not even when the ex-mayor subsequently killed himself.
Is the soundtrack ever gonna change, or
A story that the Herald
the
did.
same 2-second loop?
Is this soundtrack a little too loud?
How do you think the world would react, Mr. Quinlan, should it be discovered that the respected Ben Dodds,
Also,
held
could he
by
be
his
speaking
peers
any
as the
lower?
paradigm
Right? Yeah.
of journalistic integrity?
Like, I don't know much about
Exactly
audio
the
mixing,
perpetrator
but...
of an untrue story that resulted in the man's
What?
John,
speak up,
please.
Like, that was completely inaudible.
Then I guess we have an
Look how much
understanding.
louder he is!
I won't print anything about you.
Even though I didn't hear a word you said.
For now.
So,
I need you to tell me anything you know about the river.
I'm a businessman, Mr. Quinlan, and I wouldn't knowingly associate with that butcher. If I knew who he was, I'd turn him over. My most recent client was a young woman. She didn't seem to fit the description of a raging maniac.
Though I loved
Alright.
the game back in the day. He looks really out of proportion there.
bluff him.
I think you're involved with the Ripper. My hunch is that you're either funding him or hiding him. Either way, you're involved.
I'm a capitalist, Mr. Quinlan. The only profit in serial killing is for the muckrakers that cover it.
Don't fuck with me, asshole. I've got evidence that you're connected to the Ripper.
Perhaps I did a job for someone without knowing who I was.
You just reveal it like that? Really?
Well, he said he had evidence.
Terminated that contract.
Well, he didn't see it or ask it, you know.
But he said he had it.
Caught you red-handed, Amon. I've got a knife with Jelly Roll Wilson's fingerprints all over it.
Now, it seems to me that you should harass Mr. Wilson.
My sources tell me that Jelly Roll Wilson kills for Vigo Haman.
There's one
They're
assassin
right.
you can trust.
It's
It's
just
one
what he's
named
doing
Jelly Roll
himself.
Wilson, by the way.
See, I feel another story brewing. I might have to reveal that Jelly Rolls are bad for the health of the citizenry.
How are you talking?
Mr. Quinlan, if you have a knife with a man's fingerprints on it, you have the wrong murder weapon.
Well, you just admitted it, then.
You need to find his fingerprints on the
I have the
internet.
fingerprints of a hitman named Jelly Roll Wilson, known to work for you.
Okay, now he's too
They were
low.
found on a knife used in an attack on Covington Wofford. Now, Wofford's brother was murdered a few weeks back, and there's a definite connection between the Woffords and the Ripper. Whoever wants them dead is trying to protect the Ripper. I have evidence that you are that someone.
What? Me?
My, Mr. Quinlan. What an ingenious piece of deduction. I can't confirm much of it, but I'll give you this. I did hire the hitman.
Why
I
would you
received
tell a
the contract
reporter
from a
this?
woman I met only in cyberspace. Had I known that that person was the Ripper, I assure you I would have
Just don't forget to say we're off the record.
A woman. One more thing. Whatever became of Schultz?
My hand is
Suffice it
glued
to
to the
say
table.
that I should avoid this establishment's confidence.
Let me... Alright,
I didn't catch that, but okay.
this conversation started like, here's how I'm gonna fuck you. Oh, alright, let me just tell you everything I know.
They made up.
Oh, alright. Turn my volume back to normal level now, I guess.
That helped. Just make the soundtrack louder.
Quinlan, you haven't written a story in weeks. What?
We cleared out your desk days ago.
Just buy a home computer already, Quinlan.
Yeah, I know.
How's this whole thing gonna wrap up in like 20 minutes?
Oh, really? Oh, yeah.
Like,
you're
just... There's just gonna be a point where it's just like, alright, it's Magnata or whoever.
right. Who do you want the Ripper to be? Alright, that's the Ripper at the end. Credits.
Weapon 2. Weapon 1. Warp space.
Oh, good. What is warp space?
Political debate forum. Oh, God, no.
Warp space kind of sucks. Oh, for God's sake.
See, Ripper predicted iPads.
Jack Ripper? Serious?
Warp Space Technologies. We make it so.
I see. They made the Ripper game. Got it. So, now that we've gotten that evidence, we can go to... Yeah, sure. Why not?
You know, say what you will about Quinlan, but he's kind of a genius. Knows exactly where to go.
Oh, yeah, and then, like, he just reads out that EEG stuff, you know, even though he's not a doctor.
Yeah.
Just like, what do you think this means, Dr. Giamatti? Wow! Dr. Giamatti's crumbling paper. I can't read, make heads or tails of this! We heading... Yeah, right, back up.
So, will there be a turning point in the game where it directly points to one of the randomly assigned people? Or are we still kind of in that vague, everybody could be a it thing?
I still feel like everybody could be it.
Yeah, I'm
'cause
kind of
there's
leaning that way
nothing-
too.
I've heard that, like, it's really just, like, the last 5 minutes is all they really branched, you know?
Oh, wow, okay.
I don't know that, like, that's an exact figure or anything, but...
It's actually 5 seconds.
Right, yeah.
It is me, credits.
The real killer is me, or me, or me. The end.
Then the text comes up, or you? It says Ripper
That is
2
the best.
release date, never.
And then an alien flips you off. Yes.
Not now. I got some questions and I want some answers. Don't you want?
Like, why does everyone in the future read paper?
Oh, so that's the game. If I don't answer, you make me look bad in public, huh?
Something like that.
Well, you win.
You have 5 minutes.
No, time's up, sorry.
Ask about Secret Lab.
What happened in that last Ripper game 15 years ago?
I don't know. It happened so quickly. We heard Josie Dorset scream. When we found her, she was dead. At first, we thought Joey had introduced something new into the game.
Well, yeah.
Literal murder.
He was dead.
Wow, what a twist.
Why would
You're the
someone
best
like
DM ever, Joey.
So
The killer
immersive.
thought she was me.
Well, how do you figure?
Because right before the game started, Josie and I switched parts. It should have been me who was killed.
Why would someone want to kill you?
I don't know. Maybe because I've had trouble with men.
That's a lot of trouble, yeah.
Do you want to play the Jack the Ripper game later, recorded as a
Do you
podcast?
think the person that killed Josie is our Ripper?
Well, there's obviously some
We
connection.
switch roles.
Okay.
Who do you think did it?
Who's left? Magnata or Joey? They're both crazy. I'm next on the list. And I can't even go to the cops unless I have some evidence on one of those two. But I'm not going to just wait to be slaughtered.
But you realize, Doctor, that from where I stand, you're just as much a suspect as those two.
I realize that. So go stand somewhere else.
Ooh.
You convinced
Speaking
me.
of owned.
I want to know more about this secret lab of yours.
Haven't we been through this?
Not all of it. I've been digging through some Pan Financial accounts. Do Simeon Industries or Berman Limited mean anything to you?
Been talking to your editor, have you? What did Mr. Dodds tell you?
No, actually, we found that
Dodds.
differently.
I did it all by myself.
I mean, what's he got
like
to
a
do
big
with
boy.
this?
Dodds didn't tell you? Wow, an honest reporter, that's a first. I went to Pan Financial for research funding. They gave me a grant.
Ripper dissing on gamers and journalists.
My research involved translating brain images directly into audio and video output. The bank wanted me to create a program that would allow them to implant subliminal messages into targeted brains while they were interfacing with cyberspace. I started thinking that with a few minor adjustments, there were other things the program could do to a human brain. Other things that it could make a person do.
Like make them blow up?
Maybe. That's just
Why
one
not?
more reason I'm going to shut down this whole operation.
Are you working with the cops?
Pan Financial owns the cops. Your editor's going to break the story in the Herald. What really worries me is that I think someone broke into my research well a few months ago and may have stolen my notes.
Well, you think
It's
the
me.
Ripper did
Don't
it?
worry.
I hope not. If he used my notes to construct his murder weapon, I'm as guilty as he is.
No, you're
Duh.
not. That doesn't make sense.
If the Ripper is killing from cyberspace, how could Catherine have survived?
And it's a big if, granted.
It's a mystery in itself. If the Ripper was striking long distance for the first time, then he may have made a mistake. Also, your girlfriend has abnormally strong psychic defenses.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
In a psychic sense,
What?
she may have fought the Ripper
Like that
off
dopey
before
look
he
she
could
gives me
kill
all
her.
the time. Psychic defenses.
Take a look at this.
What's this?
Falconetti says Magnotta's the Ripper. Says he extracted it from Catherine's brain.
No way. Use your head, Quinlan. He doesn't have a tenth of Metacog's resources. How could he do this alone at home?
Use your head, Quinlan. Then she turns onto a talking
Magnotta away.
monkey.
I mean, I don't have any great love for the man, but what happens if he's not the Ripper? I mean, the cops are desperate. They're going to grab the first thing that comes along.
There must be some photo processor or something at the newspaper that could tell you if this thing is real.
Well, I don't know anything about image analysis.
What?
Looks like you,
You know,
have
your
some
brain
work to do.
scan
An
wavy
innocent
things pretty
man
well.
will die, and the Ripper will still be free.
Oh, we do photo things at the paper? I don't fucking believe that.
Photojournalism is a thing too, Slow Beef.
We could have done this like hours ago.